James Harden wants out of Houston. We knew that. His list is down to 4 teams, which are the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Miami Heat, with Milwaukee and Miami just now recently joining the conversation. So, Zach, of these 4 teams, in your opinion, which one do you think makes the most sense for him to go to?
He should do everything in his power to go to Philly. Houston won't accept a trade to the Nets without Kyrie or Kevin Durant coming back in that trade. And Brooklyn, I don't think, wants to give up either of them to get James Harden. Now, maybe they'll give up Kyrie, but there's no way they're giving up Kevin Durant. Miami isn't a great fit also unless you swap Butler for Harden, which that doesn't really help the Rockets team, or because you're getting a worse version of Harden in Jimmy Butler. And Miami's honestly entire identity is built around the Jimmy Butler identity. So I don't think that really makes sense for them either. The Bucks don't have a great package to offer for Harden. Chris Middleton makes them worse. And I mean, Giannis and Anthony Davis, or Giannis and Harden is a little bit of a weird fit just because of the fact that Giannis handles the ball a lot for them, and Harden really is most effective when he's handling the ball. The beard for Ben Simmons makes just too much sense. He gets to play with Joel Embiid, a second star who complements his game better than really any other player on any other teams on the list. They have shooting in the form of Danny Green and Seth Curry. This also helps both the Sixers and the Rockets outside of Harden. The 76ers solved their spacing problem by getting rid of Ben Simmons. They already helped out a little bit by trading out Horford earlier, but now they're trading Ben Simmons, which really solves the problem. And that you have right now with Simmons and Embiid, because neither of them is really a great shooter, even though Embiid can shoot a little bit. And Houston actually gets an all-star level player back and has a superstar potential, as Ben Simmons is still really young at only 24 years old. So this is just a good trade for both Philly and Houston, and Harden as well. And also Ben Simmons, just really anyone involved. So Harden to Philly makes the most sense and should be the deal they do.
Quickly with that Heat, especially since, the Heat gave the keys to Butler. And you can't argue. They took them all the way to the final where they actually had a legitimate shot, but the Lakers just too much power, not much they could have done. But it would be interesting to see Harden with the 76ers, but I think the best fit is with the Brooklyn Nets. And before I get more into it, a quick side note, notice all these teams are the Eastern Conference, so he's ready to move on from the West because he was with Oklahoma City before, so he's moving on to the East. But back, like I said, obviously, as you said, right, the Nets, they can't make that trade work unless it's given up either Kyrie or Kevin Durant in order to make it work. And then, as you said, they definitely would keep Durant. First off, he hasn't even gotten a chance, so there's no need. And who knows? Not many players have come back at a strong level from Achilles injury. There's a good chance that he could be one of the odd men out. He took the time to rest, but sticking with Harden. I think he is looking for a comeback. I think, if he it would have to be Kyrie that you would give up. Unfortunately, he's a great player, but he just doesn't do well, at least post Cleveland Cavaliers. He and himself was good in Boston, but that team just could not get past and over the hump. So it would definitely be Kyrie. I think that would work. Harden and Durant, obviously former teammates with Oklahoma City Thunder, that almost won a championship. I think they've actually got bigs that also play into his style. I think of Houston. I think of Clint Capella when he was there. And Capella was kind of more of a rebounding big. He was one that he was going to get his points solely off of rebounds or off of Harden floaters, which were actually passes to him. And I think with Jarrett Allen, I believe DeAndre Jordan is still there. I think that's in Brooklyn's advantage for that. And you've also talked, by the end of the day, if, as we talked about in a couple segments ago, if Durant can even get close to where he once was, now you've got two of arguably some of the best scorers in the NBA. Harden, of course, always right up atop the list of leading scorers in the NBA, and Durant, just an overall great offensive player. So that's really going to help him out, and not just for Kevin Durant, but also the Nets. And so that's why I said I think, assuming Harden were to go to Brooklyn, I think the X factor is if Durant gets back to his old scoring ways, I really think this could be one of the most lethal duos in the NBA. So to me, I think Harden for Brooklyn would give him a lot of success.
So I'm going to actually push you a little bit farther. You said one of the best scoring duos in the league right now. I would argue Harden and Durant would be one of the best lethal duo scoring, just on offense, best duos to ever grace the court. Because I think both Harden and Durant are two of the 5 best scorers to ever play the game of basketball. I think right up there with Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. I don't think they're better than Michael Jordan, and maybe not even Larry Bird, but I think they're right there in the same breath, along with Jerry West. I mean, you're talking, and Kobe, you're talking two of the greatest to ever put the ball in the hoop in the NBA. I mean, let's not forget that Durant's led the league in scoring multiple times, and let's not forget Harden is coming off of averaging over 30 a game. So it's not like they don't know how to score the basketball. So, yeah, I know what you're saying. I just don't think the package. I just don't think the Nets are wanting to give up either Durant or Kyrie for Harden. Maybe they would, but I think the 76ers is a better return out of the gate than what they're going to get from the Nets, because I think they'll also get a first-round pick, which will help them in the future. And then they're getting a player really young in Ben Simmons who they can grow with, because I mean, trading Harden is going fully into the rebuild, even though they have John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. Ben Simmons might even fit better with those two anyway than Kyrie. But it's hard to say where he'll go, but I just think the 76ers is the best move for all involved.
And that's the thing I will say with you. In terms of package-wise, I think Philadelphia's got that advantage. So as you said, Brooklyn will not get hard unless it's either Durant or Kyrie Irving. And most likely, if it was me, Kyrie. But again, so it's just the willingness of who they give up. As we said, there's not been much love between Harden and Antetokounmpo, especially these last a couple of years. Of course, when Antetokounmpo was picking all-star players, he specifically didn't want James because, as he said, he wants someone who will pass the ball. So there's a little beef between. So I don't really see Milwaukee working out. And then same with Miami. They did mention that Tyler Hero. I just found this out yesterday that Tyler Hero could. He is not untradeable now at this point. But as you said, Harden's one of those players that Butler pretty much is the only thing that you could get, and I don't think Houston is willing to give that. So I think we can both agree. It's either Brooklyn or Philadelphia. I'm sticking with Brooklyn, but I can definitely say it's got to be one of those two teams. And wherever he ends up, there's about 30 more points for your team right there.
If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for similar content. Let's get a discussion going down in the comments below. We'd love to hear and debate your opinions as well. And also, you can catch all full episodes of Beyond the Stats on all the major podcasting sites.
But you don't want me to do.